Okay, so tonight I wanted to show you I did do some work on the pot. It's still not perfect. The handles, I don't know. When he did the example with the coffee cup, and I think I want to try that just to see if it's something I did or if it's the way I'm doing this, but it's still tough. The way I managed to work around it is the way he had done it is um, he used the edge, the unmatched edges, I think they called it. I got a mess whenever I tried that. What would happen is, let me hit escape. I would get this thing going in here. Okay, actually, it doesn't look that bad right now. I would have like this weird line, like the two edges would try to match. What I ended up doing is something that was kind of a pain, but it was the only thing that I got to work. And that was, let me find that note. And this gets really complex here. We went over some of this with the curves and the resamples and the subdivides last time. So the main difference that I did, well, first of all, just as experimentation, I don't think I needed to do this, is I split the handle into two pieces. That's why it kind of looks a little not perfect yet. But let me see if I can find it. This is it. Let's see if I can show you. So what I ended up doing is instead of using the unshared edges, which was causing a mess, I used a bounding box very carefully to just bound that one edge. I could probably make the box smaller, but I did that on all my edges here. Not so much with the edges on the let's see, where is it? Yeah, from these edges. Not so much here. If you look here, I did not do that. What I did is oh no. Which one am I looking at? Because I'm looking, it's not showing, I don't have the right group selected. So I did do that here, but I had it with the handle itself. What I did is I got rid of that and used the bounding box as a means of, that's making it bigger. I want to make it a little smaller and pull it up. I'm still learning, getting used to this. I got one of these little glove things. It's kind of a weird thing I've seen a lot of the artists use. And the purpose of it is to, when you use the tablet, it goes smoother because you have a smooth surface and not your hand rubbing against it. It's pretty cool. I still have to learn how to use the tablet. I'm playing with an art program and I still can't draw a straight line up and down. Very strange. I can draw a straight line right to left, left to right, but not up and down. So it's still something I need to play with. The other thing, what was I going to show you there? What's this polybridge story? Because I merged everything in, it looks like it handled. Actually, it doesn't look too terrible. Because compared to this one looks a little bit better than this one. Very sensitive. It's very sensitive to the spacing that you do when you're doing the transfer. Try to get, so there's only 1 point transferring. And what was I going to show you? So that was the main thing. That the main takeaway I had is that it did, for some reason, you would think the edge group would be more accurate, but for some reason it didn't work on this. Like I said, I want to try it on the coffee cup model and see if it has to do with the shape, because this shape is a little different. I mean, you have it going kind of in two, in a different direction. Whereas the coffee cup, it's just running, on along one side. So that could be it. Let's see. The other thing I did, and I had to go back to the stuff that I learned, the instructional video, is this poly bevel here. And you can see, now if I go back here, you see it's kind of straight up. I go here, and you kind of get a little fold. And if you look at all the other, like the examples of pots, they all have this. So that was the other thing I did. Now again, this is still not what I would call a perfect pot. And the other thing I probably want to do is maybe do some beveling on these edges here. Now, the reason you can do the poly bevel is, and this is, again, what I had to go back to, when you do the, let's see here, because you got essentially 4 groups. You have the 2 holes, and then you have the 2 sides of the handle. And this could probably be neater than it is. But up with if you follow down from the main curve, the first curve up here, which is the main body, and you have once you do your revolve, you do a poly extrude. Now, the key thing with this in terms of doing beveling later on is you can output groups. And groups are very critical to any kind of, well, basically critical in Houdini, because that's how you manipulate everything. And so these, I believe, are edge groups. Let's see. And you have different, now I don't even know what all this, I guess you can output different attributes and so on. And the beauty, again, this, if you think about Houdini, it's very much a spreadsheet-based way of looking at 3D. If you look at, this is the extrude node, and these are the point values you have, and then you have the UVs, then you have the groups, and then what is this? This is so you have all these different attributes, and that's one of the key concepts if you do any intro to Houdini. So basically this complicated mess is to create 2 holes, which would be these 2 lines down, and then I take 2 separate curves. You probably could use 1 curve and just use the technique of that limiting by the box, and it's just something I tried, and I said, well, what the heck? Because it just made no sense that his method didn't work. And again, it could be the direction or some other thing. So I am going to try to experiment with the coffee cup on there. But for now, we have somewhat of a pot, and probably still needs a little bit of work, and obviously it's not textured and so on. But once you get the shape and the structure right, the next step with the pot is how I did it originally also, is to create an ABC, and what do they call it? Ambivalent. I don't even know how to pronounce it. It's the .abc files. And you put this out, and then you can bring it into Cinema, and you can do what you will. The other thing you can possibly do is do the animation in Houdini, because that's one of its specialties. Remember, how I got the coins to go is I used particles and attached the coins to the particles, essentially. So, now that's the next thing also, is the coins. The coins in my first version were basically just flat discs. I think they need a little bit of character. So that's one of the things I'm going to be looking into, is how to create some coin that has some kind of, something on it, so it doesn't just look like a flat disc. The nice thing is, given space, you could, maybe make something that kind of looks like a buffalo, or something that looks like it belongs on a coin. And you want to maybe a tiny extrusion on that, because extrusions on a coin aren't that big. So anyway, hopefully this has been helpful. I think the two key takeaways are using the groups full of poly bevel and working around the fact that the edge groups, the unmatched edges, using that did not work. Again, I'm not sure why. They looked like pure edges to me when I looked at them, but they would cause all kinds of craziness. But when I used, actually physically used a box select it, that really helped. Now, it's not as procedural as I'd like, because obviously the box determines where those things are selected, as opposed to something attributed to the handle itself. But maybe I can eventually figure out why the handle using those edge groups did not work, and then improve this again. But again, hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully you've learned something. I've certainly been learning stuff playing with this, and hopefully if you're working with Houdini, you're you've just started working with Houdini, you're learning a bunch of stuff too, as you try to do different things, because that's how you learn stuff. Step-by-step tutorials are nice. The problem is, and this can be seen when you think of the cup example versus this trying to make this pot, is the instructor will give you an exact numbers and so on. Set this distance to 1.3 and set this to this and so on. And you're not going to have that when you have to make something. So I do want to understand why the edge thing did not work. So and when I figure that out, when I understand that, I will certainly bring it back to you all and explain why I had to go through these machinations to get the handle to want to talk to the pot in a proper way. So anyway, again, thank you for watching, and I will speak to you next time. Take care.